So I would just like to comment on maybe what the first two or three would be, because we can't hear them all.
Okay, so let's start with Ian. If you could give us two or three primary areas of focus, would that be a good way of saying, Steve? Steve? Yes, okay. 1 minute.
Hi, this is Ian. I mean, like I said, it all goes down to the corruption. All these issues are because of corruption. But as far as the top issues, I think right now we have to get rid of homeless camps. No one's going to move a business here, a bunch of homeless camps taking control or people moving them in. We had a commissioner say, well, why don't we advertise to homeless people? Let them know Pahrump is here. Probably not the best move. I try to do that as quickly as possible. The second thing that is a top priority, I hate to choose between fire and police, but the crime is a problem, and you know, corrupt people don't like law enforcement, right? It's two sides of the same coin. I mean, when there's law enforcement, they arrest bad people. So, you know, it didn't just start out here in the last couple of years. People who are corrupt do not like law enforcement. They're actually sometimes attracted to it also, which is interesting. With that being said, I would say we have to properly fund the sheriff's department. We have to remove homeless camps and send homeless, instead of building homeless shelters, we have to send them back to where they were. It's not humane to bring homeless people out to here. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan?
I can talk better now. Well, the road's number one. Ian's right, homeless is a big problem. Part of what's happening is the homeless people are picked up and shipped in here, and then whenever they break the rule, they just kick them out. They don't take them back to where they got them from. So what that's doing is adding to our homeless problem that we have around. Now, homeless has been around since biblical times, and it's probably never going to change. We just got to learn how to deal with it. As far as it comes to crime, we have to figure out how to retain our deputies. They get hired, they go through post, and then they leave. Not a good plan. It's not a good idea. That's pretty much it. What was the other thing?
Okay. Beth, your turn.
Southwich District 2, running for District 2. My two things that I'd like to look at, I would like to look at roads. However, there's a budget for road construction, and that's all the money that we can use for construction and fixing of roads. I'd like to see that we come up with a grant department. I know there's one person on the commission or in the offices over there that writes and checks out grants. We need to get more money. Beatty has been doing it, Tonopah's been doing it, but Pahrump, we just don't go out there and try and get the grants. There are a lot of highway grants that we could potentially get some money for in order to improve our roads. The other thing is I'm really concerned about the way that things get approved here, different businesses. The commission that does that is just appointed by the county commissioners. I have a problem with that. There could be nepotism.
All righty, thank you.
Again, District 2, it's hard to say that I'm going to focus on one thing. It's really hard to work on one thing when everything overlaps, or it takes time to do one thing, and while things are being worked, you can be working on something else. I'm a good multitasker, but first I have to assure myself that the financial state of the county is in good enough shape to go and take the next step to go attack some other things. The next thing I would attack would be the roads, all right? And as I said, I'll probably go to Washington and beat somebody up. But there's gotta be money there. I know there's money there. You know there's money there. We just have to get it.
Well, I'm not gonna come bail you out, so.
I've never had to be bailed out yet, so.
You're gonna beat somebody up in DC, you might be there.
I've been around for a long time, and I've never been in jail yet. I can't go for once. They weren't happy they couldn't catch my GTO with their poor little. Those were the days.
All right, Edward, now it's your turn.
Hello? Okay, good, I didn't turn it off.
Hold it close.
So, there is something that I was looking at, it's a Department of Transportation, we were talking about roads, obviously, that was a big standpoint. It's Safe Streets for All Roads, a grant program through the transportation.gov. I looked that up a long time ago, and one of the things I wanted to touch on with roads. Kind of like John, he was touching on, there's a lot of different things that we can hope and promise for the future. Roads, healthcare, public safety. ultimately transparency within our government is key for me, so that is my standpoint as far as that goes. I mean, the homeless camps for sure, the one thing I've learned about that as well, I was reading up on that, is, I don't know if it's possible, but I'm curious to know, is if we can find the homeowners, or the landowners of the homeless camps where they're residing at, and start finding them for these, the scenarios. I don't know if it's possible or legal, but we're gonna go for it. So anyways, that's my time.
Thank you.
So, financial, we do not want to be managed by the state. Right now, we are we borrowed $5.82 million so that we could keep ourselves off of fiscal watch. So that's something that's evident, so we have to be careful, and we need to work on that first. Roads, infrastructure, now, when you're talking roads, we're also talking drainage. We have problems with drainage. This is a much bigger problem. We need to rezone the whole town. My town where I lived in Vermont, I was on the planning and zoning board. We rezoned the entire town. And it took us 2 years, but it was worth it because then we could go move forward with the plan. Right now, we are willy-nilly, and that infrastructure problem is hurting us long distance. And then lastly, the transparency. I would love to see Commissioner's Corner in the newspaper. People could write in questions. I would love to see every board of directors meeting paraphrased or some.
Budget and infrastructure, homelessness is a problem. Mental health is a problem with the homeless.
Yep.
We have to have a plan together with healthcare to make sure that they're given the proper healthcare and mental health that they need, so maybe they won't make that choice of being homeless. Bust them out and tell them never to come back, well, that's an option, but I don't think it's a viable one. I've worked with mental health a lot. I did Health Gallup for a number of years. But the budget is important. There has to be checks and balances. We have to make sure that we're spending the money where we need, where the needs need to be. Infrastructure is a big one. I mean, when I remember, I grew up here, when Pahrump was Pahrump, and the front branch was sold, Coyote came in, they did roads, they didn't do any infrastructure.
Thank you.